For this part of the episode, we're going to play a game. We're going to play a
I
game
like
where
it.
we're going to
Patrick came
put
up
up
with a new game.
a new game. We're going to put up all of our some of the big macro charts and even some individual stocks if we want. We're going to take a look at it, and then we're going to each make a call whether it's the breakout's for real or it's a fake out.
Got it.
All right.
Let's hit it.
Let's hit it. So let's just start with the most basic one that I'm sure everyone's already seen. Let's just start with the S&P 500, right? So we obviously a lot of tailwind here off of the source from Twitter from all the news of a potential trade deal. S&P 500 breaks those 3150 highs, almost touches 3200. Is this a fake out or a breakout?
I'm going fake out. I think we're going to get into a little bit of chop here, Patrick. I don't think it's all clear sailing from here until year end.
There you go. You know, what's interesting is it is going to be quad witching. 3,200 is a big gamma level. I don't think we beat 3,200 this week, upcoming week. I think that we fade off of this high as well. So everyone be warned, the market's probably going higher, right?
That's right. When you and I agree, it's for sure going to do the other thing.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Dollar. Now, this is an interesting one because, all right, I want to make the call on the dollar, but rather than making the call on the Dixie, so we have the dollar index breaking down below those October lows around that just above 97. But it really does depend on which currency we're looking at. So rather than making a broader call on the Dixie, let's actually go to some of the components. And starting with the euro, obviously the biggest cross. Now, we had an attempt to break out above those October highs, and the euro today gave it all back, popped above 112 temporarily, back down almost to 111 again. Was that is this going to follow through and come back for a breakout, or is this a fake out?
It's headed higher.
It's headed higher?
A lot higher.
Okay.
I think this might be boring, Patrick, because I think I'm going to be like all the currencies are headed higher. But let's see. I got one that I'm for sure is not headed higher, but all the other ones I think I like. What do you think?
No. I think this is a fake out. I'll take the other side of the chart.
I
think we gravitate back down below 112. So
okay.
So pound sterling. Now, obviously, elections were the big catalyst for this breakout above 131 all the way to 136. Was this kind of the reaction where it kind of blew it off and we're going to fade off of the top, or is this a real breakout and you think it's going to keep going higher?
You know me, I love selling a new high that kind of gives up its gains and feels like it's the emotional top. There's nothing better than like waking up and finding your position up 300-400 points, you sell it and go the other way, and then that ends up being the top, and it goes lower from there. I don't think this is the case in the pound, though. I think that fundamentally something huge has changed, Patrick. I think the real orders are still to come from the big money. I think this thing grinds higher for a long time to come. All
right, well, listen, I'm not going to actually take the other side of your coin for the longer-term trend. But I actually think that for the remainder of the year, the top may be in for the next few weeks. And I actually think we can easily see it fade back to like 131 and that this entire temporary breakout is going to be given back. But I'm not suggesting that that's like a big reversal for a bear trend. I just think that we've seen a short-term top. All right, let's go to, I'm going to flip it, US dollar, yen. Is the U.S. dollar going higher or lower against the yen here?
So the U.S. dollar is going lower. I think that you're going to see the yen be one of the strongest currencies in the next little while, Patrick. Yep. I'm a yen bull, but baby.
I'll take the other side of this clearly. Actually, we have a bet on this.
We do, actually.
Yep. And it's actually very high stakes. Very high stakes. 112. Right. It was for the Market Huddle menswear.
That's right. And it's going to be ugly if I lose, but it's going to be ugly either way. No matter who loses,
104 are levels.
Ugly. Yeah, I'm not looking good. You're so far so good for you, but I still think the yen's headed.
But I think it's actually the U.S. dollar is going to break out against the yen here. I think we're going north of 110. I'll take the other side of your trade.
Okay.
All right, sold to you. So. Chinese renminbi.
So the Chinese renminbi has been strong on the news of the trade deal. I think that strength is finished. I think that that we will go back to the weakness. In fact, I think that the trade deal is going to prove to be a bust, and a lot of things.
So this is a fake out.
Here,
Fade it.
fake out. Yeah,
I'm with you. I'm with you. So it's going to do the opposite.
Be careful. Yeah.
Yeah.
Here we go. My favorite one, Canadian dollar.
Right. Are you a seller or is this going to?
Oh my God! You sell this with both fists and your feet as well. This thing's headed lower. That's how strongly I feel. So, which means it's probably not, because whenever I have strong conviction on a trade, like my number one trade is never my best trade, Patrick. I've learned through history that you should probably do my second and third trades and do less of my first, my top pick.
And is this your number one?
I would say that this is probably my number one trade right now. You know, especially from a tactical short-term trading point of view, like obviously in long term, I'm a huge bond bear, and that's where I think that's the number one trade for me. Now, but in terms of like the next couple of months, yeah, I think the Canadian dollar's headed a lot lower.
Okay, so let me ask you this then. So this is the do you want me to flip it upside down to the?
I don't
US
care.
cap?
You do whatever you like. No,
So
that's fine.
This is the Canadian dollar.
This is the futures way. This is the way that we trade them at the CME. So I'm fine.
Yeah.
With it.
So the Canadian dollar is hovering around 76 cents. Do you think that if oil breaks out here and if commodities are strong, that could temporarily allow the CAD to strengthen to the top end of the ranges? Like, is that a concern at all for you, or do you think that the economy is going to dominate here?
This is the pushback that I got on my piece that I wrote, and people started telling me how in a global upturn that we would have the Canadian dollar outperforming the rest of the currencies because we're a petrocurrency. Well, you know what, Patrick? I think the U.S. Is becoming just as much of a petrocurrency as us. Yeah. And not only that, our economy out west is struggling. It is so bad out there. I see that the vacancy rates in the office towers are 26%. And yeah, no doubt the bottom is probably in. I see that we are actually managing to get some pipelines going, and the worst is probably behind us. But to think that this is going to cause us to boom because the oil, bounces $5-10, I don't think it's going to happen. Not only that, Patrick, we don't trade WTI. We trade the Western Canadian Select, and I could see a situation where WTI heads up $10 and Western Canadian Select stays, depressed.
Right. You want to do the Aussie dollar? Look at this Aussie dollar.
Well, wait, you didn't tell me what you thought about CAD.
I don't want to Gucci your trade. I don't want to Gucci your trade. I'm just going to.
Thank you, buddy. I appreciate that. Yeah, good man. So Australian dollar. It also tried to looks like a prairie dog as well today.
Yeah, look, it tried to break out and gave it all back. And what I'm curious about whether the CAD and the Aussie dollar kind of trade at the hip. They've often had correlations. You've obviously tried many times to play the Aussie CAD, right? But so far they've actually, in the last couple months, had a bit of a correlation. I mean, they more or less.
Well, for sure, they moved together, and I was a big odd CAD bear. I covered that, and if anything, if you forced me long or short odd CAD, I would choose long without a doubt. I think Australia is advanced in terms of their correction in their housing and stuff, and we're just starting.
All right, you heard it here. So let's. I'm actually in the same camp as you, though. I think that's a prairie dog. I think that on the short term, that's.
Oh, I actually am not. I don't necessarily think the Australian dollar is going lower. And in fact, if you made me buy or sell Australian dollars, I'd probably buy them.
Really?
Yeah, I'm not. I am not.
I'm
a global economic bear.
In
fact, I'm a huge. You know what, Patrick? When I didn't mean to interrupt there, but one of the things is that we didn't do the Dixie, but let's go back to the Dixie. Let's do the whole index. Go back to the top before we kind of move on from currencies here.
Right.
The Dixie broke down, and I know there's all sorts of bulls telling me why I should go higher, but it's broken down. And fake out or breakout, I'll throw it back to you, Patrick. Which way?
Oh, I think that the breakdown is a fake out. I'm still a dollar bull.
Sold to you. I am huge dollar bear. And
now, with that said, I want this the fine print in here. On the short term, we could go down to 96. I just am a buyer down here. I think that in the next point lower is going to be a bottom. I'm not calling the bottom today, but I think we're much closer to the short-term trading low.
Well, here's something for you, Patrick. I don't think we hit new highs. I think this is it. The highs are in.
What the 100? Like as we approach.
Yeah, whatever that
there?
tick was, 99.50 or whatever. The highs are in.
The highs are in. What kind? Are you going to give that for next year? Do we have a bet here?
I don't know. What do you think? So
I'll
what
take
is that?
the other side of that. I think we're going higher.
Okay, so that's what, 2.5 higher? Like, so I'll take 95.
No. It's so
90,
simple.
90,
Does it or does
95
it not make new highs next year? It's very simple. Does it beat the high or not? That's.
I'm just trying to think if that's a fair bet. Nah, shit, you're on. Okay. No, because that's not fair. It's too much of a one touch. Let's do 99 and a half. No, let's do 99 and a half or 95. Which one it hits first?
Ooh.
I'm giving you 18. I'm giving you 18 points, 18 ticks of vig there, buddy. You gotta take it. Patrick,
all right.
stop.
What are we doing? A burger bet?
You gotta do a burger bet.
All right, burger bet it is.
There we go.
We're gonna have to add that one at the end.
Someone's gonna have to write this down in a moment.
No, we'll put it. We'll put it on the slides at the end because we got our archive.
Oh my God, you're not going to Bitcoin, are you?
I was just gonna mention it.
Fake out or breakout.
All right. Like I mean, it's been, but it doesn't. It hasn't even moved. It's been pinned. We haven't. There is no breakout, right? Like, I mean,
did you see the study that they said somebody's been looking at it, and there's some whale that owns like 30% of the Bitcoin float that is responsible for every single rally? Have you read this?
No, but I could imagine that.
Yeah, and you know, one of the things that you remember back, you love Reminiscence of a Stock Operator, terrific book, I do as well. And if you remember back to the points when he talked about how he would orchestrate getting off size.
You run it up and sell on the way down.
Yeah, you never sell on the way up. You sell on the way down.
Run
you try
it up
to get,
and then,
and then you just plug it the whole way down as people try to buy it because they think it's cheap versus where it's been. So you run it as high as you can, and then you sell it all the way down. I feel like there's some. I 100% feel like there's somebody doing a reminiscence of a stock operator, like that pool operator play in Bitcoin. Send me all your hate mail. I know, I'll get all the. I'm a no coiner. I get it, but that's what I think's going on there, Patrick. And so if we get a rally, it's just another chance to sell.
There we go. I'm with you actually. Yeah, I'm with you. That's scary. All right, so crude oil. Was this a breakout?
Geez, I haven't looked at that chart. It's a good looking chart, actually. I like it. It's headed higher. I'm always, you know me, buddy. I'm always a crude oil bull.
No,
you know what day of the week is it? Is it one of the ones that ends with Y? Yeah, if it is, I like crude oil.
I'm a bull on crude oil too, so everyone be warned. We're both bullish on crude.
We're screwed.
But what's interesting, I was waiting for Brent oil to actually make the breakout to new high, and it attempted to make the breakout out of its little kind of 1 month range, and it didn't hold it. But you know what?
This is a great day to play this game. You know why? There's a lot of things that today
attempted to make that higher high and then gave it back.
Right. It's a terrific game. Let's keep going. I love it.
Because it's almost like there's potentially huge amount of prairie dogs that all happened. It was like a prairie dog party today.
That's right.
And it
looks like the Winnipeg Zoo on a hot summer day. You ever been there? I'm telling you, if you go to the Winnipeg Zoo, they got the greatest prairie dog exhibit ever. It is awesome. It's like it's the best part of the zoo.
It's so easy to take care of them.
No.
You can just go into the field and just grab.
Yeah, it's like literally they have a squirrel exhibit. It's kind of strange, but I love it. It's just awesome. It's like when you watch these little critters, they're great little guys. Like you got to love a prairie dog. It's a noble animal.
You know what? We got to figure out. So Atul, one of our listeners, sent me a picture of him drinking a beer that somewhere out in Alberta that's actually called the prairie dog.
Oh, we got to get that. Please, someone send us a prairie dog.
No, but we were trying to figure out, you can't ship beers very easily through like Canada Post and shit like this. So the thing is that we have to figure out somebody who's going to drive across Canada that can bring this stuff.
That's right. You sound like a European that comes to Toronto and says, you know what, I'd like to drive to Vancouver. How long is that going to take us? 4 days, 5 days? Okay, let's go on. Next one.
But if one of our listeners is going to do it, understand
Yeah.
they would be a champion in our books if they managed
That's right.
to do.
They
Anyway.
would forever be immortalized. The prairie
you
dog.
would.
Yeah. Okay, next one. What do we got?
All right, so I wanna
Copper.
talk-
This thing's running, right? It's running like it
Yeah.
stole something.
Yeah.
It's really strong.
You know what? A technical measured move just finished. Like I was talking about the breakout up to about this 280, 285 level. Now I just think that it's going to temporarily pause up here. I can't. Maybe we'll see $3, but I'm not bearish. But I think the short term move is done.
Really?
Oh, well, I just think that we're going to pause maybe for the rest of the year. And by probably in the first quarter of next year, we could see 3. But I think that we're done for this year.
I don't know.
I'm making the call. I'm making the call.
Okay, well, I'm going to take the other side of your trade just because it's fun when I disagree with you. It's headed higher, man. It's headed to $4. No,
All right.
$3.50.
Uranium.
No, do you know what? 1 second. Back to copper.
Oh, yeah.
The one thing I would like to talk about is that the copper gold ratio.
Yeah.
I think it's signaling that that maybe your favorite long should be sold heavily.
Really?
Yeah, copper gold moves with interest rates.
Yeah.
Can you pull that up, or is that hard for you? Can you get
No,
that easily?
I can try to figure it out. Hold on.
Let's see if we can get that chart. Copper gold, because that is one of the greatest trades out there that kind of is under the radar. I kind of worry about it because unfortunately, Gunlock uses that one,
Yeah.
and I'm always suspicious of him.
Yes. So, do you want copper divided by gold or gold divided by copper?
Copper divided by gold.
This is copper divided by gold. That's not the right chart, is it?
No, that's okay. Now put yields on there.
All right.
Can you add yields or no?
Yeah, I can. What do you want? 2 year?
No. Like use a 10.
A 10?
Yeah.
All right.
By the way, I finished my beer.
Did you? That's pretty impressive. You're
That's
gonna
how
be
much I
hammered
like
by the
this
end of
thing.
the show.
This thing's awesome. This is the greatest beer ever. I don't know why I like it so much. I just love it.
There you go.
30-year-old recipe. You know what? People from Vancouver, they grew up drinking it. It's like Labatt's 50 for them. Like it's just like that's a standard beer. See how that goes together?
Yeah. The correlation's clear.
Yeah. So it's one of those ones. Like I'll write a post about this one time, but I think the fact that copper's running so much and meanwhile gold's stalling is a sign that the global economy is reflating, and that's why yields are backing up. Well, anyways, we'll get to yields. We got a lot to talk about.
We're about to get to yields. So let's leave it.
But interestingly enough, my point is that I think being such a bond bear, I can't help but be a copper
bond bear again.
And the other thing is, I don't think anyone's talking about it. This is one of the things.
Really?
I think it's one of these that I just feel like it's kind of snuck under the radar. It's all of a sudden it's gotten.
I was on the Wolf of Bay Street guys show, Wolfgang.
Yeah, Wolfgang, good old Wolfgang and Jack.
Good old Wolfgang, yeah, and Jack, they're great. And Javid was on there. We made a bet and on whether or not we're north of 2.25 on the yield. Duke and Duke bet on his show, and so I took the obviously under. And so we'll find out whether I'm right or wrong.
Oh my God! How much are you going to lose? Bet you are a fool. Let's go on.
Fool.
Let's
All
keep
right.
playing the game.
Cooper.
Let's keep playing
All
the game.
Uranium. Look
Okay,
at
you're
that.
not really
prairie dog.
doing uranium now. You're not really
doing
doing
participation.
uranium.
Yeah, we're doing uranium participation.
But that's not
units.
really like uranium. That's like a closed-end fund subject to the thing moving.
Anyway,
around.
I understand.
Not only that, that's in US. That's in Canadian dollars. Uranium's traded in US dollars. Regardless, maybe it's kind of short-term, gotten a little ahead of itself. That thing's headed higher, super higher. You'd be a fool. I pity the fool, Mr. T, to sell that thing.
I'm with you on not selling it. All right. I actually think that this is a buy on dip. I'm good with it. All right.
Okay.
Gold.
Yeah. So this one I have trouble with.
Well, it's been consolidating. It's literally been in a $30 range for about 5 weeks. It's tight. It's wound up. It's gonna go. Which way is it gonna go? Higher or lower? Right now, make the call.
Oh shit! Really?
Make the call. Okay, I'll make it first.
Higher,
It's going
higher. Because I'm a dollar bear. It's easy for me.
All right, I think it's going higher too.
Oh, we're
think it is.
screwed.
Yeah,
I think it's going to go to 12.
Sorry, everyone. We fucked it up.
Yeah.
All right.
Silver.
Silver. It's interesting. You can draw this nice little trend line along these highs. It's like, will it break out? That's going to be a really interesting one.
This thing, silver is just like the crack cocaine of precious metals, right? Like it's just no, really. Look at the percentage change. Like that thing was $20, and yeah.
Oh yeah,
like it really is. It's just kind of like, you know, if you want to.
It's gold on steroids for sure.
Yeah.
All right, now let's move on. Okay, so, I mean, if we're bullish gold, we're bullish silver. Okay, that's done. So let's go to the one I want to talk about: breakout or fake out on wheat. There's a bullish engulfing candle coming out up along the top.
What does
end.
that mean? Whoa! Stop right there.
It's when the green candle. It's when the green candle engulfed the prior little red one there.
Really?
It's a bullish engulfing candle coming out of.
So wait, so you have a little red, and a red means it opened higher. And
well, it doesn't have
lower.
to be red. It has to be a small candle, and then the big green candle engulfs it. Like it started below it, and then the whole day it spent rallying way above it, and it just engulfs the prior day trading.
Okay.
And so, but it's a bullish engulfing candle coming off.
It sounds fancy. That's all I know.
Yeah.
Bullish engulfing candle. Sounds like you actually know what you're talking about. You kind of surprised me. Okay. So, you got to buy this. Like, you got to buy, wheats, because you'd be, again, just an idiot to sell this stuff. I know that people like.
Okay, so
traders.
Where are we going to the? Are we going $6? Are we going up there? The 6 handle?
Okay. You know what, Patrick? Like, the people who really trade this, who really know it, they're going to be laughing at us right now because they're going to be like, wheat, you should, like, I saw some guy, he had this chart, it's like never buy wheat. I think, you know, that Bart Simpson's where he does lines, like that meme that everyone does. It's like never buy wheat. I completely and utterly understand that these things separate you from the money, you know, your money from your wallet. But the reality is that one of these days, these are going to go, like they're going to go like nobody's business. So you will never catch me selling these short. I don't trade them very often, but when I do, it's going to be from the long side.
This looks like a good chart. Every dip, higher highs, higher lows, rolling up. It's just got some overhead resistance here that it's got to beat. But so far, the price action is very accumulative. It's good. It's healthy, actually.
Okay,
and
there
so
you go. Patrick likes
I'm bullish. But now the question is, does corn catch up? Look at this consolidation on corn. Obviously, corn had the big, huge pop and drop in the summer. And then it just made this entire consolidation wedge, and it's attempting to break out. Is this thing go with? Are we about to see corn try catch up here?
I don't know. We need Angie to tell us.
Yes.
Where's
Angie when we need her?
Yeah, I don't have a clue.
Should bring her on.
I barely could tell the difference in the field. No, I can't. I could tell the difference between corn and wheat.
All right, so higher or lower?
Pretty sure I could.
You're still higher. You're going to say higher on all the grains,
I know.
right?
I'm just going to say higher. I'm the worst.
Okay, and so just we'll look at this. And this is your soybean chart, but it's higher.
So if anything, I would actually probably not buy soybean because it feels to me like everyone trades like soybeans based upon the Chinese buying it. By the way, we got to talk about this. This is kind of a funny thing. Do you realize that they're talking about like $40 or $50 billion of agriculture purchases?
Yeah.
Like it's like the total amount sold like in the entire world is $40 or $50 billion. It's like redonkulous. Like it's just the stupidest shit I've ever heard. There's a reporter from Reuters that talks about that continually. She goes through and she kind of debunks the idea that these things are real numbers. And then the other thing that I kind of find amazing is that they're sitting around and they're talking about coming up with, the Chinese are going to buy the Americans' soybeans. Well, you know what? If the Chinese bought the Brazilian soybeans, whoever usually buys the Brazilian soybeans would instead buy the American soybeans.
It all works out in the end.
It's just like it's a commodity. Like this is the dumbest thing I've ever seen in terms of what they're negotiating for. Anyways, I you know what? Out of all the ones that I'll take the soybeans I like the least, Patrick.
Okay, you know what? And from a chart pattern, I think the corn and wheat look both better. than.
Well, there
than
you
the
go.
sec-
It's almost like I knew that intuitively.
Yeah, intuitively, you're that good.
Yeah, not really.
So, Kev, it's time to jump to the 10-year Treasury yield. Now, you've been spectacularly wrong year after year on this one. And
Sorry, I was just choking on the bullshit you're serving up.
And you lost bet after bet. You've been shamed on this one, but you know what? You just cannot let this one go. This will be your undoing. This is your widowmaker, is it not?
No.
No.
It's gonna be my.
See, you
retirement.
realize you and Jeffrey Gunlack can be in your little. Inflation's going to be 2.5%, and the 10 years going to 3%. Is that you? Are you in this camp? This is where we're going.
Oh, I'm probably even higher.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what? Let's save this actually for an episode because we've just made a burger bet. So why don't we just hold off on another bet? But
Okay.
we're going to have to do the part 2 of this bet for the 2020 year. We'll do it in the next couple of weeks because I'll take the other side of your bet.
Okay.
On the short term, forget your long-term view. On the short term, it popped higher, 10 points, dropped almost the entire 10 points back. We're down at 180 for the rest of the year. Higher or lower? Are we going up to that 2% print in the 2019 calendar year? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, I'll take the other side on no.
Okay.
I think we're muddled. I don't know. I don't necessarily think we're going to see like 160 or 150, but I don't think we're going about north of 2 this calendar year.
So now, Patrick, I'll preface this. If you had talked to me about the 2-year or 5-year, I think that thing's pinned to zero, baby, or not to zero, but to unchanged. I don't think they're going to be raising rates anytime soon, and I think that
you're going to have so much egg on your face on this one, Kev. Like you don't even know. This is
okay. Let's go on to the next thing then. Let's
let the
market
you know what?
decide on that one.
We talked. Listen, just that's enough. Equities. You want to do corporate bonds, maybe, or do you want to just move on? Because the only thing that I want. Let's talk international equity. Let's talk some interesting charts. Let's what I thought was interesting. Let's start with the Canadian TSX. Now.
Fake out or breakout, Patrick?
I'm torn because if it was just if we were doing Canadian banks, then I would be with you on the sell. But if the stock, no, you know what? No, I it's a fake out. I'm not bullish.
Oh God, you goochered my trade.
Sorry,
I'm a
buddy.
seller too. It's headed lower.
You know what?
Probably my. It's my.
Let me kind of
un-goocher
ungoocher it by saying it's just not going higher. All right, I just don't believe that this is about to break out and make a big surge higher.
I appreciate you taking that for the team.
I am going to take the one for the team here. I'm just going to say that I'm just not a buyer here.
Okay. Do the Nikkei 225. Let's do
for
Japan.
sure. Let's do Japan. Now is that a breakout or is that a fake out? That's
buy,
a move,
baby,
buddy.
buy. Buy, baby, buy. Look at that. Look at that clean break.
It looks pretty fucking real. That's like, you know what? I'm scared to be bullish with you because we're going to goocher it, but that looks like a breakout. And now, I mean, we could see 25,000 in short order.
You know what? For those who are just listening to this and can't look at the charts, you should pull up a chart of the Nikkei because we have, I don't know what it's called. It's like
it's a
squiggly all on its own.
It's an ascending triangle pattern consolidating at a key breakout, and then you have the breakaway gap. It looks pretty clean.
There we go. So there
it looks pretty clean.
It sounds pretty impressive when Patrick says it, but it looks like it's headed higher. That's all I know.
All right, but you know what? The Sensex, the Bombay stock market, my friend, that looks like that's a breakout, buddy. It's gonna go higher. This is your call. I'm gonna give you full kudos on this because you brought it to my attention that this was thing. But I think it's going higher. Did I goocher it for you?
No, let's just keep going. I like it.
You like it? Are you? So are you? Are you in?
I'm in.
Bullish.
Now here we go. Bullish.
China. Let's do the China A50.
I don't know. I wouldn't. That'd probably be the last one, the international stocks I'd buy. But I don't know about you.
All right. Breakout or fake out on the Euro Stock 50.
Holy shit! This is a lot of stuff headed higher.
Look at that. The consolidation break. Yet today was a breakout candle on so many of these. I can't think of a better day to play this game.
You know what the thing is, Patrick? These international indexes look way better than the American ones.
Yes, it does. Yep. I'll agree with that.
Right?
You know what? It's interesting. You wrote a piece about it, but I'll agree with you. Like you know what? And who's another one that was talking about that was again Jeffrey Gundlach was recently on a number of interviews talking about the fact that he thinks that the U.S. will underperform materially.
I think he reads my pieces. I think that's what he
does. Of course. Why wouldn't he read the macro tourist
For
pieces?
sure. Yeah. Why wouldn't he? And you know what? Although he is a little mad at us after having Jimmy Jude on.
But you know what?
For those who don't know, go listen to the Jimmy Jude episode. Jimmy Jude is
52 or 53, episode 53.
53. It's our anniversary, right? Because I was the one who thought that the 52nd was our anniversary. Figured it out.
Yeah, there you go.
That's not actually the anniversary.
But this looks like a real breakout on the Euro stock. I actually think this could be for reals.
For reals. You sound like my kid. Okay, let's go on. Next one.
How about Brazil? I mean, this thing's been running.
Holy shit. It helps when you're devaluing your currency.
Yes. Yes, when you're
nothing like
when
making your stock market look bullish when you're that's right.
That's why you can be bullish on the Nikkei. You're going to lose that bet so bad, dude.
Oh, God.
You're trying to be bullish on the Nikkei.
Okay, how about this? Let's do this next one then before you talking shit to me. This next one I see it. It's the British
yes.
And look at that. In U.S. dollars, that thing's probably doing great because don't forget the pound's headed higher.
This stock market, the FTSE's been compressed by the currency strength for sure, right? But I personally think that the pound is run out of juice on the short term, which means the stock market could actually kick higher while the currency backs up a little bit. Now, I'm not bearish the currency, but I just think it's been kind of holding it back. So if the currency backfills, then we could see a break back to 75s to 7,700.
I like that index. I know it doesn't look great on a chart, but I love it. Okay, let's do EM.
Pull it up. Emerging markets. Wow.
Oh, God. Look at this thing. It's awesome looking. Yeah.
You a buyer?
I'm a buyer. Buying this just like all in. I'm all in, baby. This thing's headed higher.
You know what?
This is going to be the trade of 2020.
What? Long EM? EM?
Yep.
What?
It is so underowned. It's so hated.
What do you mean? A year ago, it was the single most overowned thing. Now it's the most underowned?
Well, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. But I just think I can't tell you how much I like other equity markets apart from the U.S. These other things are so cheap. But
like, it doesn't bother
listen,
you.
Patrick.
It doesn't bother you that you're bullish all of these currencies and you're bullish their stock markets at the same time. You don't think that you're not conflicted by this in any way?
No, I'm not conflicted at all. Don't forget what the reserve currency of the world is. The reserve currency of the world is the U.S. dollar. The U.S. Federal Reserve has just told you that they're not going to go and do what they did last time, which is go out and try to get ahead of any sort of
And since when? What did Powell say back last December that they were going to keep with their taper, and then the next month he flip flops? So you can't trust.
He is
what
not
the Fed is going to say.
No, you're right. You can't trust them when they're talking tough, but when they're talking dovish, baby, you can trust them. Listen, Trump and Wall Street neutered. I'm talking neutered Powell. And he is not going to do the same. He came out trying to show how tough he was, how he was going to get ahead of this, how he's going to stop the bubble. That is gone. No. They are coming up with excuse after excuse as to why they are not going to raise rates in the next economic upturn.
All right,
let's face it. They're already talking about letting that run hot because we're undershooting 2%. Okay, they're talking about all the extra unemployed that are underemployed or whatever. Right. They're setting you up time and time again for the fact that they're about to go and let this thing run wild, man. They're going to let it go. And so in that environment, yes, maybe U.S. stocks will go higher, but the other stuff will go even higher. And I think emerging markets is what you want to own in that kind of scenario.
Well, you know what? While I'm not outright bearish the EM space, I am not remotely as optimistic as you are. I would be far more inclined to say it's going to be a muddle than as bullish optimism as you are. But you know what? This is going to make it fun. We're going to watch this.
Nothing makes me happier than hearing you're on the other side of my trade, Patrick.